Harmon Field in Wapakoneta is the site of our Week 6 matchup, as tonight, two schools close in proximity, but on completely different ends of the league standings go head-to-head. It's the 4-1 Wapakoneta Redskins and the 0-5 Bath Wildcats, and it's yours next on Game Face Ohio.
You're on the go and don't have time for cords to be tying you down. That's why TSC created the Cord Cutter Bundle. You get big savings for bundling internet and cable, and there's no phone requirement. Choose from 20 megabyte, 50 megabyte, or 100 megabyte speeds. No phone, minimal TV, and all lightning fast internet. Ask about the Cord Cutter Bundles and come home to TSC.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
Hello, Frost Roofing.
Frost Roofing holds the same core values our company was founded upon nearly 9 decades ago. We proudly provide quality craftsmanship and top-notch service to each client we serve. We're licensed by several major roofing manufacturers to give you the right recommendations at the best value for your investment. With state-of-the-art equipment, cutting-edge technology, and our honest way of doing business, Frost Roofing is our area's preferred commercial roofing experts. To learn more, visit frost-roofing.com or call 419-739-ROOF.
Week 6 of high school football, Week 5 of Western Buckeye League football. Eli Alvarez and Paul Sadler here with you from Harmon Field in Wapakoneta, and we welcome you into the Minster Bank pregame show. Well, Paul, we've got two teams, Lima area schools that know each other very well, the Bath Wildcats and the Wapakoneta Redskins.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup, as you mentioned. You know, two teams that are kind of experiencing different seasons so far, but obviously always working towards improvement.
Looking at the Bath Wildcats, 0-5 in the league, or 0-5 overall, 0-4 in the Western Buckeye League.
And they are an incredibly young team. They perhaps might be the youngest Western Buckeye League team that at least I've ever seen, if not of all time. And, you know, they're trying to find themselves. You know, right now they're scoring just under 12 points a game and giving up just around 37 points a game. But they're gaining a lot of experience that they hope pays off in the future.
Speaking of those young players, our player to watch is a freshman. It's the quarterback, Cyrus Burden.
Yeah, one of 5 freshman starters on both sides of the ball. Cyrus Burden, as a freshman, has passed for 263 yards and he's rushed for 27 yards, 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and he'll run a little bit of option, and it's more of a running game for Bath, but they will throw selectively.
Looking at the home team, as it is homecoming night here in Walpock, the Redskins 4-1 overall, 3-1 in the WBL.
Yeah, and after dropping their first game 2 weeks ago in a heartbreaker versus Kenton, Walpock put 56 points on the board versus Elida, the most points they've scored since 2013 when they hung 61 up on Van Wert. However, they're led by the #1 defense in the Western Buckeye League, which is giving up just under 12 points a game and around 230 yards a game.
And our player to watch for the Redskins, the senior, number 10, Brady Erb.
Yeah, Brady Erb has not been asked to pass the ball a lot. He only has 22 passing attempts on the year so far, and he's averaging roughly the same amount of yards passing and running, about 213 yards running, 211 passing. But, you know, this might be a good game to get him going and get some confidence.
As we switch gears and look at our keys to the game, first for the visiting Wildcats.
But they need to take it one play at a time. You know, you're not going to be able to set the world on fire, you know, in entire game. So, you know, take it into one play battles, then it turns into one drive battles, etc. Take advantage when they do get some opportunities. If they get a turnover, good field position, they need to try to cash that in. And, you know, a lot of this is about these youngsters getting experience. As I mentioned, they have 5 freshman starters and 5 sophomore starters. Just an incredibly amount of youngsters playing tonight for the Bath Wildcats.
And the keys to the game for the home team, the Wapakoneta Redskins.
Well, they need to continue their strong running game. They're second in the WBL, averaging 316 yards a game. They need to be disciplined on defense. They're going to see a little bit of option here and there. They need to make sure that they're disciplined in their keys and just continue to improve. You know, they still have a chance to be able to win the Western Buckeye League and control their own destiny, and also make it to the second season in the playoffs. So, you know, they just continue to improve.
Homecoming night here in Walpock. The Redskins won the toss. They decide to defer. Bath will get it when we come back. You're watching Game Face Ohio.
sometimes you just don't want to get out of your car. That's why TSC has made it easy for you to pay your bill. We have drive-up payment drop boxes at our St. Mary's and Wapakoneta offices. Just pull in, drive around, and drop off your payment. Just one more convenience to show you how much we appreciate you.
TSC. Give us a call and see. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Call TSC.
Back here at beautiful Harmon Field for this Week 6 matchup between the Wildcats and the Redskins. Eli Alvarez and Paul Sadler here with you, and it's a great night for football, Paul. It's definitely September weather.
Yeah, we're in Week 6 here, and I mean, this is kind of the sweet spot. It's not too hot, not too cold, perfectly comfortable. And just, what else you want to do on a Friday night but go down and watch some high school football.
You get a look at head coach Travis Moyer for the Redskins, and he's trying to get this team back on the winning track after losing 2 weeks ago to the Kenton Wildcats.
And you can see right there, has had all kinds of success, a 43-9 record here in his 5th season here at Wapakoneta. Kind of an unprecedented era of winning here for the Redskins.
As it'll be the homecoming king, Luke Beach, to kick off for the Redskins. The festivities, always a big show here at Wapak on homecoming week.
And to top that off, you got a blackout here with the Redskins student body, so a whole lot of atmosphere as they got to kind of everybody spread out. They even got the Bath student section on back behind the end zone.
As Caleb Berger is back deep, the field Beach's kickoff. One last look around, and Luke Beach gets us started here in Week 6. As it's a nice kick fielded at the 5-yard line by Berger. We'll see what number 16 can do with it as he tries to reverse fields, and he's going to be pushed back at the 20-yard line.
Well, really, it looks like he might have had something going if he just continued his trajectory, just coming straight and try to turn that corner. Instead, he kind of turned right into the pursuit.
We'll get a chance to look at the freshman Cyrus Burden and what he can do offensively for these Wildcats.
And there's lots of inexperience there too. The running backs is a freshman. Armor 32, he's a freshman too. Leading receiver.
Ian Armentrout. And again, this is a Wapak defense, number 1 in the Western Buckeye League, only giving up 11.8 points per game. As a personnel issue.
Yeah, Micah Cox late to get out there.
They get the playoff in time. They'll give it to Cox as he tries to bring it up the sideline, up to the 25, where he's going to be brought down.
You know what? If the play was for me, I'd make sure I was out there.
Well, Micah Cox, a big guy, 235 pounds.
There's the starters for Wapak. Again, a lot of experience here. Led by Evan Keck, Brendan Knievi leads the team in tackles for loss. Him and Isaac Meeks.
It'll be 2nd down and 5 for Burden. He'll send a man in motion. And he'll give it right back to Cox, but there he is, Evan Keck. He took the football from him, and Keck's going to fall down just shy of the 10.
Evan Keck, just with a man's play right there. Hopefully we get a nice look at this, but handoff went to Cox, and it looked like he's just going to be stuffed in the backfield for a loss, but Keck able to come away with the football as well.
Evan Keck still holding on to the ball as he finally gives it back to the official.
Well, there was a foul on the play for a legal shift on Bath, but it's going to be declined, obviously, as Wapak will take the result of the play with the 1st down here at the 13-yard line.
Big play for the Redskins defense. Sets up great field position for the offense, and we'll see if they reward Keck as he's the lone man in the backfield directly behind Herb. And they give it to number 5, and Keck's going to storm forward to the 5-yard line.
And get used to seeing that scene where Keck gets some contact early, but then he just keeps moving, and continue to get yardage while carrying guys.
They're going to call it a 2nd down and 1. Great start for the red and white. Herb is going to hand it back off to Keck. Evan Keck bulldozing his way into the end zone. He forces the turnover, and he gets the 6 points for the Redskins as well.
Yeah, and that's Keck's 9th rushing touchdown of the year, and could not have had a better start scripted for the Redskins with a quick turnover, and in 2 plays capitalize it with 6 points.
The Redskins will come out to attempt the PAT, and it looks like it will be the senior, Tristan Gessler.
Gessler in to attempt the extra point.
Gessler on the season, 13 of 13 on extra points. And he's going to keep that perfect streak alive, and Walpock is up early in this one, 7-0 over the Wildcats.
7-0.
Have you heard about TSC's referral program? Refer your friends and family, and you both get a credit matching the services they chose. That's right, we'll credit your invoice. There's no limit to the number of friends you can refer. So come back to your local hometown provider and bring your friends and family with you. We'll reward you both.
TSC, give us a call and see. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
Owen Kitchen and Bath Showroom has been family owned and operated since 1990. We can help you from start to finish with your entire project. Let one of our professional designers put the final touches on your project. Owen Kitchen and Bath now has 2 showrooms to better serve you in Wapakoneta and Lima. Owen Kitchen and Bath, cabinetry that will take your breath away at prices that won't.
Early touchdown has the Redskins on top 7-0. It took him 13 seconds after Evan Keck forces the turnover. He punches it into the end zone as well. And the Wildcats, after this return, will start their second offensive drive of the game. But first, there's a penalty marker down.
Those tend to be on the receiving team, but no official indication yet.
Blindside block.
It's going against the Wildcats. So you've got a very young team, as we've talked about in the pregame, Paul, and they come out and they turn the ball over on their first drive, and now they have to regroup against the best defense in the Western Buckeye League.
Yeah, and that's almost worst case scenario what happened there. Outside the first down play, which was a pretty promising play, you know, for that to happen where the ball is turned over, you just can't do that. And as inexperienced as this team is, Micah Cox is a senior. So they're going to need their seniors kind of come through with them, especially when it comes to ball security.
High snap. Burden's going to throw this one, and Gage Iams, the intended receiver, he drops it.
Well, that had a lot of miles per hour on that one. I mean, that was a dart. So Burden only completing 42% of his passes so far.
He comes into this one, 3 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions thrown on the season. It'll be a second down and 10 from the 14. And they're taking a while to get back to the line of scrimmage. 5 seconds to get the snap off. Down to 2 seconds. And they're sending the man in motion, and they didn't get this one off in time. That's going to be a penalty marker. And again, Paul, it goes back to what we've been talking about, an inexperienced ball club not recognizing the play clock was winding down.
Yeah, but you know, quite frankly, you kind of need to help that young team out and make sure you get the play in there in time. And if it is coming out there quickly, like if you are going to play in there late, sometimes you need to tell the kid that's running it in, like, you know, hey, you know, let's make sure we go on 1 or go on first down. We need to get this play off.
So they'll back them up 5 yards, and the ball will be spotted at the 9. So second down. This is going to be a pitch to the outside, and the defense again swarming. The Redskins on fire right now.
Yeah, Brendan Kenevi was able to get in there. Again, that's his 6.5 now tackle for loss, which now leads the team.
So it'll bring up a 3rd down and long. So 19.
So even though he was pushed back into the end zone, the forward progress is out to almost the 5-yard line. That being said, it's still a 3rd and a bunch for the Bath Wildcats.
Looks like it was Carter Parlapiano on the carry for the Wildcats.
And he is the leading rusher for this Bath Wildcat team. Again, only a freshman.
Parlapiano will be set up next to Burden in the shotgun for this play, but first we have whistles and a timeout taken by Bath with 9:44 remaining in the first quarter, and Wapak on top, 7-0.
Come out to Astro Lanes in the Loft Bar and Grill, where you can find great food, good drinks, fun games, and of course, bowling. Astro Lanes, a great place to spend some spare time.
Strength is about so much more than the body. It's about being together, serving, sharing, and caring for those around us. It's about keeping score in the heart rather than on a scoreboard. Be a part of a community that builds more than your body. At the Wapakoneta Family YMCA.
Third down and 19. They're going to throw this one for about a gain of 10 back to the original line of scrimmage. And that will force the punting unit to come out for the first time for Bath.
And that was junior Gage Liams with the catch. And that did at least get them out of the shadow of their own goalpost, get them a little bit of room to punt.
Ryan Gibson and Aaron Chambers are deep for the Redskins.
So it'll be Zach Simpson to punt it deep for the Wildcats. It's a little bit of a rugby style punt, and it's going to be fielded by Gibson at around the 50-yard line. And Gibson with some room to run. Now he's got Wildcats all around him. A stiff arm, and he's pushed out just across the 30. And now a penalty marker coming in late. See how they sort this one out.
We're pointing over to the Wapak bench. So I feel this might be going against the Redskins.
I think it might. One correction, Lex Bodeker was the punter for the Wildcats.
Illegal helmet at 15. Play.
So a good return by Gibson is going to be nullified with the illegal helmet contact.
So we have to see that. I mean, generally, you know, you kind of hear illegal helmet. You think targeting is what they usually kind of refer that to in the college and pro game. And generally, that's the team that's trying to make the tackle, gets those kind of flags. Yep. So, the Redskins are going to be backed up an extra 15 yards, but still excellent field position starting in Wildcat territory.
So Brady Erb this time has a few more yards to go to get to the end zone. He's going to keep it himself after faking the handoff to Gibson. Erb with Green in front. No one's going to catch him. Brady Erb is going to add 6 more points on the board for the Redskins.
Now running the zone read, and Erb had one guy he had to take care of himself, and he was able to evade him just across the line of scrimmage, and he exploded down for a 45-yard touchdown for the Redskins, and they are up 2 scores real quick. You can see on the replay, he just had that one linebacker that was unblocked that he had to account for, and once he was past him, no one was going to catch Brady.
So the quarterback getting it done using his legs, as Gessler will come on to attempt the PAT, and Tristan Gessler will stay perfect from the spot. 14-0, Wapak cruising so far here in this first quarter over Bath.
At Minster Bank, we understand that life can get hectic. That's why when it comes to your banking, we offer the services that make your life simpler with tools like person-to-person payments, Pop Money, mobile and online banking, and bill pay. But most of all, Minster Bank is a supportive member of your community with personal relationships and customer service that reach outside of our branches. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success.
IC Signs designs, creates, and installs custom eye-catching signs. We use state-of-the-art technology to produce indoor and outdoor signs, LED message boards, and vehicle wraps. We can also help you with LED light conversion, sign refurbishing, custom t-shirts, promotional items, and your print needs. Whether you know what you want or have no idea, trust the experience of IC Signs. Call IC Signs at 419-738-6640.
For Wapak takes 2 plays, 13 seconds. This scoring drive takes 1 play, 9 seconds, and they lead it 14-0 over the visiting Bath Wildcats.
We talked about how this, being Brady Erb, our player to watch, this might be a good game to get him going, and he was able to get that done with his legs that time.
Berger's going to field this one around the 3-yard line, and he's going to be upended at the 20.
Terrific tackle there by Devin Hulskamp. He was able to kind of get into him early and get his legs up and take him off the ground. So, we mentioned as one of the keys to the game, the Bath Wildcats need to take it 1 play at a time. And, unfortunately, sometimes you don't play the score. You just play the play. And while things have not gone well for them, they have to just focus on executing that next play and try to get some positive results and just continue to improve that way.
It's been a trying year for head coach Bryant Miller in his first season as the Wildcats head coach. They're going to send a man in motion. Parlapiano is going to get the handoff, trying to stiff arm his way across the 20, but again, great job by the Wapak defense to swarm him.
And once again, this quarterback of Parlapiano, they were playing 8th grade ball last year.
Yeah.
So, and all of a sudden you're going against, Brendan Kanivi, who's been playing varsity for 3 years, 260. It's a big step up.
So Burden's going to go back into the shotgun on 2nd down and 10. This time looking to throw. Ball knocked down as he was looking for Armentrout, his intended receiver.
That was Kanivi again. And then also kind of with him was number 20, Garrett Seifring, as he came on the blitz, and he was actually totally unblocked.
Armentrout, another one of those freshmen that we spoke of for the Wildcats. And you look down the line, quite a few of them that get a lot of playing time. Their kicker, Keaton Lyles, also a freshman.
And then a couple guys on defense are also freshmen. And, they obviously had a lot of success as 8th graders. And as long as they kind of stay together and stay positive, they're going to end up being pretty solid football players, and they're hoping that's going to pay off for them in the future by taking some lumps possibly this year.
Burden rolling to his left, and he's not going to go anywhere. They'll bring up a 4th down again for the Wildcats.
Yeah, a host of them there, including Keck, to be able to register the sack.
4th down and 11 from the 19, and we'll see Bodeker back on to punt.
And Bodeker actually, unfortunately for them, he punts a lot, but he's also last in average in the WBL, averaging 28.5 a kick, although the last kick was really nice.
Gonna roll out another. This one might have been blocked, the rugby style punt, and it's gonna roll and come to a stop just shy of the 40.
The rugby style punts come very in vogue, but you have to adjust your blocking for it and kind of swing to the right in this case for the right-legged punter, excuse me. And it looks like they were able to, the Redskins, get around that protection and get their hands on it.
So for the 3rd time tonight, the Redskins offense will start their drive on the right side of the 50-yard line after a 20-yard punt. Their last 2 scoring drives took 3 plays combined in under 20 seconds, or just over 20 seconds, I should say. This one going to go to Evan Keck, and Keck trying to score on the first play again. This time he's going to be stopped just shy of the goal line at around the 6-yard line.
And a nice easy pitch and catch for Herb to Keck, and he actually had Isaac Meeks a little bit deeper on that bootleg that he could have thrown to who was open as well. So he had his pick of who he wanted to get to, and we'll see this on replay. You know, just kind of easy as a left-hander. Sometimes it's tough rolling out to your right as a left-hander. You know, Brady, that's only his 11th completion of the year. So, you know, hopefully for him, you know, he can continue to build some confidence in his passing game as a second-year starter.
Herb's going to throw this one in and out of the hands of Noah Ambus.
Yeah, and Ambus, a youngster himself, as a sophomore, looking for his first catch of the year, of his career, really. And that ball was right in there. He's got to be able to hold on to that ball with some contact.
Did take a shot. Bring up a second down and 8 to go to the end zone. It's an offense. The Redskins that have been moving the ball fairly easy on this Wildcats defense. Herb will go under center. Send Gibson in motion, but he'll hand it off to Keck. Keck lowering his shoulder, and he's going to be dropped down at the 5.
And he ran right into Brendan Coleman right away, only a sophomore, able to make first contact. Bring up a 3rd and goal from about the 5.
It's a deadly duo in the backfield with Riley Gibson and Evan Keck. Thunder and lightning, as we like to call him, or better yet, AJ likes to call him.
Copyright AJ. Yeah, then truthfully, you know, they're 1st and 3rd in the Western Buckeye League, so, you know, well deserved.
And it'll be Lightning that gets the ball this time as Gibson is ankle tackled right around the 4-yard line.
And Polipiano playing both ways, able to make that touchdown-saving tackle on Gibson, and looks like Coach Moyer is going to keep the offense out there.
5 yards to get into the end zone. He's trusting his offense. He's got a nice 14-point cushion even if they fail to get it. Herb will go into the shotgun with Keck next to him.
Looks like he got man coverage on the outside.
Miracle to the left. As Herb is in trouble, has to roll out. Now he's going to try to use his feet, has some blockers, and Brady Herb for his 2nd touchdown of the game scampers in from 5 yards out.
Yeah, and his 5th of the season. He didn't like what he saw, and he had trouble coming, and he was able to evade that. And then once he evaded those 2 rushers, as we can, we have the replay here, he's got some time, but now he runs out of time. Nice job being able to evade, and now he cuts back with the vacated area and scores a touchdown.
The first time it was 45 yards to the house for Herb. This time only 5. As Gessler will come back on to attempt the point after. High snap. Good job bringing it down, and Gessler does the rest. 21-0. Wapak leading in this Week 6 matchup over the Bath Wildcats.
The Stolly Insurance Group, growing and looking out for you.
Whether it's your personal insurance, business insurance, or life and health insurance, let Stolly Insurance look out for you.
We're fortunate enough to represent over 50 different insurance companies.
We have access to major insurance companies all over the country, so you will receive the best coverage for the best premiums.
Stolly Insurance proudly represents Auto Owners Insurance Company and other fine companies.
Stolly Insurance, looking out for you.
Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency is a full-service insurance and financial services agency, offering insurance coverage for your auto, home, business, life, and health. Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency represents a carefully selected group of financially sound, reputable insurance companies to place your policy with a company offering the best coverage at the best price. Contact Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency at 419-739-4000.
Took 5 plays, 39 yards, and Brady Herb goes 5 yards for the score, his 2nd of the night, and his Redskins lead at 21-0 here early in the first quarter.
And Bath hurting themselves with, really just giving the Redskins terrific field position with hurting themselves with penalties, having some negative plays, and then the partially blocked punt.
As the homecoming king, Luke Beach, boots this one into the end zone for a touchback. So we'll see Bath's offense go to work once more with 5:31 remaining in this opening quarter.
Now, Bath so far has ran 8 plays and has a total of 8 yards.
You know, Paul, you talk about it when we get games like this that you aren't necessarily concerned with the score at this point in time. It's just about trying to run your offense and get things going.
It is, and really that goes for both ways. You know, I'm sure Walpaw could just give the ball to Keck every single time and be pretty successful, but, you know, they need to work on their execution, get better at their other stuff offensively. And, you know, defensively, they need to read their keys. They have to make sure they stay disciplined. And, you know, right now their defense is kind of living up to the #1 billing in the WBL.
They go back to Micah Cox on that carry, and last time he had it, it was Evan Keck that took it away from him. Talk about Cox, the 5'10 senior, 235 pounds. They have him listed as an offensive and defensive lineman, but when he carries that ball, he could be dangerous if he lowers that shoulder. Burden's going to keep it, throw it out into the hands of Iams, and he's going to be dropped after a gain of only 1.
And even that play right there, you know, there's kind of a learning opportunity. Burden put that just a little bit high, and because of that, the receiver had to stop his momentum and made him, you know, a lot easier target to be able to catch. You know, you want to be able to get that down nice and low where the receiver just catches the ball in stride and never stops running, and then, you know, now the advantage goes to the receiver.
The 5'10 junior Gage Iams, one of those veteran players on offense. Not too many of them to go around for the Wildcats, as Burden's going to roll out to the right. He's got his intended receiver being knocked out of bounds is Braden Rabel.
That's Rabel. He's a senior, and that's only his 2nd catch of the year, and that was a perfectly passed play. It was a nice little comeback route here to the near sideline, and we know we had a great view of it. Burton had that ball in the air before Rabel was making his break, so I mean that's exactly how you practice it.
11 yards on the reception. First down and 10 from the 32.
And, you know, when we talk about trying to get better at things and just doing it one play at a time, you know, that was a very successful play by Bath that they can build upon.
Burden to throw into the flats. He's got his man Armentrout. Armentrout trying to break some tackles across the 35.
And compare that to the screen that they ran a couple plays ago. This time he hit his receiver in stride, didn't have to break the stride, and he was able to get the ball, get his eyes upfield, and get a positive play. So 2 very positive plays there for Wildcats in a row.
Maybe the freshman quarterback, Cyrus Burden, is starting to get a little comfortable back there. Ball's now spotted at 36. Burden will roll out to his right, now looks back left. He's got a man down the field. It's Iams, and it's deflected by Devin Coons.
And Coons leads the team in passes broken up, and they're just running a little back post, which is when we're rolling out to the right, the backside receiver is just running a post route. Stepped up Burden trying to throw it to him. I actually think his receiver kind of hurt him there a little bit because he didn't finish just running through his route. He kind of started to stagger his feet a little bit and that let Coons be able to catch up and now be able to knock it down.
So now a 3rd down and 6.
You see the replay of the knockaway by Coons.
Coach Miller has to like how his offense has moved the ball here. They go back to Cox, and this time they lose yards and will bring up a 4th down.
And there's going to be 15 yards tacked onto it against Bath for kind of a pushing the guy down there after the play. So don't like to see that kind of frustration, but that's an easy flag, and that's something that needs to be, you know, taken out of the game pretty quickly.
You know, last time we were here, back in week 3, when Shawnee came to town. That was a very physical game, but that was understandable as those two teams very close in proximity to one another, kind of a underrated rivalry game. This one hasn't been like that to this point.
No, I'm assuming that was just some frustration. It's been a long season. We're not 9 minutes into this game. You're down 21-0 already, and there's probably some frustration there. While that's understandable, that's something that you have to kind of keep under wraps and be able to find ways to positively, get that frustration out.
Gibson's going to field the punt from Bodeker at the 50-yard line. He'll bring it up for about a gain of 11 or 12 on the return.
Caleb Berger with a nice tackle and special teams there for Bath. And for the fourth straight possession, Bath will start with field position inside Wildcat territory.
With a 21-0 lead already for Coach Moyer and his offense, we'll see if they experiment some more and try to get Brady Erb more involved in the passing game. He scored twice, but they've been with his feet.
Well, they're going to go trips right here out of the shotgun, so that's something they could work up. You do have Keck back there as a single back. You always got to know where he is.
And they give it to Evan Keck, and it takes about 4 Wildcats to bring him down.
Well, they definitely had their eyes on him. I mean, there's a lot of blue helmets right there on number 5 as soon as he got it.
Gibson will check in for Keck this time.
So Keck, as I mentioned, leads the Western Buckeye League in rushing, and Gibson is 3rd in the Western Buckeye League in rushing and averages an eye-popping 10.3 yards a rush.
Interesting enough, the second leading rusher is a quarterback, Nate Place of the Van Wert Cougars. As Erb going to throw this one to Ambus, and again, not able to handle it, and almost was intercepted.
Yeah, it might have been slightly low, but again, you'd like your receivers to kind of come up with that. So, him and Noah need to kind of start to develop a little bit of chemistry here. They've misfired on 2 opportunities with each other.
Redskins facing a 3rd and 8. They're 0 for 1 on 3rd down conversions tonight. They are 1 of 1 on 4th down conversions. This time, it'll be Aaron Chambers that lines up next to Erb. Chambers is going to get it on the handoff, but the Bath defense was ready for him, and he's going to lose 3 yards.
Very well defended, and even though they were kind of trying to give the misdirection to the wide side of the field, excellent job there by Parlapiano to be able to maintain his gap, which is outside contain, and it was just right there. And looks like the Redskins are going to go for it on 4th down for the 2nd drive in a row.
It's one of those weird places on the field where obviously can't kick a field goal, maybe a little too close to punt it away.
And once again, having a 21-point lead, it's not as big of a gamble as it might be in some other cases. So it gives you the chance, another opportunity to work on some part of your game.
Herb got receivers all over the place, and this time he finds Miracle, and Miracle is going to come close to a 1st down. It looks like he's got it.
And they got the reception. Miracle, that's his 4th catch of the year. And I always spoil for my tight ends. Isaac Meeks was going right down the seam, and quite frankly, would have been a touchdown. No one was on him.
14-yard pickup.
But we'll see this nice pitch and catch on the little comeback route to the outside. Moves the change for the Redskins on the 4th down conversion.
Ball spotted right on the 25-yard line. Chambers going to get the handoff once more, and he's going to be thrown back for another loss.
That's Kenyon Poling, a sophomore, 225 pounds, coming in and making the play. So we're seeing some life here from the Wildcats and some spurts. And again, you're going to get that with kind of a young defense. They used to say in the WBO, you're going to have a loss for every sophomore you have, a starter in the Western Buckeye League. Well, again, this team's full of not just sophomores, but also freshmen playing out there.
Tell that to Evan Keck, who was amazing his sophomore year a year ago for the Redskins, as Erb again is going to keep it. Brady Erb moving his feet just short of the 20-yard line where he's going to be brought down.
I do think it was a pretty older saying.
Yeah, I agree.
Nowadays, I think you've got some kids who, not only develop a little bit earlier, but, they're into the weight room a lot earlier than they used to be. There's some times where sophomores are walking around and don't look like the sophomores they looked like about 20, 30 years ago.
as the clock's going to wind down, and that'll do it for the first quarter. A 3rd down and 6 for Wapak to deal with when we come back, but they lead the Wildcats 21-0.
You're on the go and don't have time for cords to be tying you down. That's why TSC created the Cord Cutter Bundle. You get big savings for bundling internet and cable, and there's no phone requirement. Choose from 20 megabyte, 50 megabyte, or 100 megabyte speeds. No phone, minimal TV, and all lightning fast internet. Ask about the Cord Cutter Bundles and come home to TSC.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
Hello, Frost Roofing.
Frost Roofing holds the same core values our company was founded upon nearly 9 decades ago. We proudly provide quality craftsmanship and top-notch service to each client we serve. We're licensed by several major roofing manufacturers to give you the right recommendations at the best value for your investment. With state-of-the-art equipment, cutting-edge technology, and our honest way of doing business, Frost Roofing is our area's preferred commercial roofing experts. To learn more, visit frost-roofing.com or call 419-739-ROOF.
Changed ends of the field. 12 minutes up on the clock. We're about to start the second quarter with Wapak leading Bath 21-0. Eli Alvarez and Paul Sadler here with you for this Week 6 matchup, Week 5 in the Western Buckeye League.
And this brings up a 3rd down, and this is the one thing that has not gone Wapak's way so far. They are 0 for 2 on 3rd down conversions.
They're going to give it to Evan Keck, and he's looking to change that. Moving the pile forward, Evan Keck picks up the 1st down.
So, one thing that we kind of missed with all the stuff going on in the first quarter, we forgot to get the starters. So take a look here at the Wapak starters. Again, playing a lot of guys both ways. A little change at center. We have to take Nate Ambus was playing there. We have Tyler Schroyer listed as a starter, but it looks like Ambus is back out there at center.
Well, when their first drive goes 2 yards in the score and their second goes 1 yard in the score, it's hard to get those starters out there. As it's going to be Keck again.
And here's the defensive starters. Trey Johnson, 22, is their leading tackler, only a sophomore. Cortez, also a freshman out there. Piano, we talked about him as a freshman. Captains, number 3, Brady Coleman, and Caleb Berger, who's second on the team in tackles, also all starters.
2nd down and 7. The Redskins can still get a 1st down without scoring. Herb in the shotgun will send Chambers in motion. That's exactly who he gives it to. Chambers trying to find the edge. Chambers with great blocking in front, and he leaps into the end zone to extend the Redskins lead.
And Chambers is kind of that guy, the guy off the bench that gives them a little bit of a change of pace, and he scampers for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year, and then kind of leapfrogs into the end zone.
That one was for the cameras.
I'm waiting to hear the Super Mario kind of music as he goes through there.
Gessler will come back on, trying to stay perfect on the year for the point afters. Herb to hold. Kick is on its way, and the kick is good. 28-0. Wapak on top on homecoming night here in Hartman Field.
Sometimes you just don't want to get out of your car. That's why TSC has made it easy for you to pay your bill. We have drive-up payment drop boxes at our St. Mary's and Wapakoneta offices. Just pull in, drive around, and drop off your payment. Just one more convenience to show you how much we appreciate you.
TSC, give us a call and see. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
28-0, Walpaw is on top of Bath here in week 6 from Harmon Field. Eli Alvarez, Paul Sadler here with you. And it's been all Redskins from the start to where we are now, Paul. Luke Beach will kick it off once again. He's getting the most work of anybody, it seems like, tonight. It's a nice boot by Beach, and it's going to land halfway into the end zone.
You know, that's quite an advantage to be able to have someone that can put the ball in the end zone. You know, we've done St. Mary's games here the last few weeks, and we see how much of an advantage their return game has given them. And, you know, when a team like Walpaw is able to negate that by putting it in the end zone and making them start at the 20, you know, that's a big part of field position, which is a big part of football.
The winning ticket for tonight's 50-50 is
Wildcats will come back out. They put together a nice drive their last time out, but it stalled around midfield. As Burden's going to throw it out into the flats to Armentrout. Armentrout's going to be knocked down by Aaron Chambers. Great pursuit angle by him. Yeah, and what you need is your teammates to be able to block for you on that one. And Niams wasn't able to get his block to be able to make that screen go. If he's able to maintain his block even for another second or two, you know, that could have went somewhere. Will be officially ruled a loss of 1. Cox in the backfield, next to Burden. Gonna roll out to his right. He's got pressure, and that was a great job by Reed Miracle to get back there and knock Burden down from the ankles.
Yeah, Miracle's going to end up getting not credit for the sack, but it was because of him why that happened, because of his penetration allowed Knievi, I think, is probably going to be the one who ends up getting credit for that as being the closest person for when Burden went down.
Wildcats going in the opposite direction. It's 3rd down and 17 on the 13-yard line. They hurry to the line of scrimmage. 5 seconds to get a play off. Burden's going to roll out to his right. Now has time. Looking down the field, and he overthrows his intended receiver, Braden Rabel.
And they were trying to get a wheel route up top, and the Redskins were not fooled and stayed on top of it. And I think Burden Moore just kind of threw that away because their option that they really wanted to get was not there.
So that will once again bring out the sophomore punter, Lex Bodeker.
And it's going to be, once again, tremendous field position for the Redskins as they have yet to run a play in their own territory.
Bodeker standing at his own 3-yard line. Going to punt it from about the 5. Gibson will field it at around midfield, but they're going to say he stepped out at around the 48 before he tried to cut back in.
Yes, and that's going to qualify as the worst starting field position of the game for the Redskins. Still, you know, just still in Wildcat territory. So, but for right now, you know, Bath really kind of struggling a little bit. They've run 17 plays for a total of 16 net yards. Now, the Redskins, because of the short field, actually doesn't have a ton of yards. They have 135 total yards, but they've scored 4 touchdowns on all their possessions.
They did it in fairly quick succession. The first touchdown drive only took 13 seconds, then 9 seconds, then 1:54. The last one was the longest at over 4 minutes. And this one might be a quick one. Riley Gibson on his way to the house, and Riley Gibson extends the lead.
Well, that's going to improve his 10.3 average per carry. 49-yard romp right there as one of the fastest players, at least with the most acceleration, I think, in the Western Buckeye League. Puts it into the house for the 5th touchdown of the night for the Redskins.
The 2nd time tonight that they've scored a touchdown on the first play of the drive. Gessler will come back on. Him and Luke Beach have been busy tonight. Gessler, perfect again. 35-0. Redskins on top here in week 6.
Have you heard about TSC's referral program? Refer your friends and family and you both get a credit matching the services they chose. That's right, we'll credit your invoice. There's no limit to the number of friends you can refer. So come back to your local hometown provider and bring your friends and family with you. We'll reward you both.
TSC, give us a call and see. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
Owen Kitchen and Bath Showroom has been family owned and operated since 1990. We can help you from start to finish with your entire project. Let one of our professional designers put the final touches on your project. Owen Kitchen and Bath now has 2 showrooms to better serve you in Wapakoneta and Lima. Owen Kitchen and Bath, cabinetry that will take your breath away at prices that won't.
Only took one play for Brady Erb to hand it off to Riley Gibson, and he goes 49 yards to the house in 9 seconds, 35-0. Walpock on top. It's a pretty easy gig for quarterback Brady Erb right now. He's just handed it off, although he's done the running on 2 of the scores, 45 yards and 5 yards himself.
We've had 4 different Redskins score rushing touchdowns already.
As Beach again is going to get this one into the end zone, and that's got to be frustrating for this Wildcat return team.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, there has not been a whole lot of positive for Bath so far tonight. And again, the idea of taking a play at a time, you know, and try to get your battles, you know, one play at a time to try to get some succession. So they've made a couple passes earlier on. Their very first play from scrimmage was about a 7-yard run. So they've had some pockets of success. It's a matter of getting that more consistently is what they're going to have to build towards.
Ball at the 20-yard line after the touchback. We'll give this one back to Micah Cox. And Cox with a solid pickup he's going to be stopped just shy of the 30.
Yeah, that's really similar to the first play of the game. Running a little bit of misdirection with the jet action, and then giving the ball to the big former lineman, Micah Cox, and able to get a good gain on first down.
I will say this, the schedule does not get any easier for the Bath Wildcats, as they've got St. Mary's coming up next, and they got a home game against the Van Wert Cougars. They'll travel to Shawnee, and they'll finish the season home against the Kenton Wildcats. As Cox again gets the carry, and he's going to have enough for the first down.
So 2 straight Micah Cox runs have resulted in moving the chains. The second first down of the game for the Bath Wildcats. And that is actually going to move them into positive territory when it comes to yards rushing so far. Now have 2 yards on 10 carries.
On first down and 10 from the 31. Burden back in the shotgun with Cox next to him. Sent Armentrout in motion. Spinning out, rolling to his right. Burden looking for his intended receiver, and again on the sidelines, the pass is incomplete as they were looking for Braden Rabel once more.
And I tell you what, the defensive back play of the Redskins is really good. You know, you got a lot of experience with Chambers, Coons, and Gibson and Erb back there, and you know they just don't give a lot of open space for these receivers. So you know they're able to play a little bit more man-to-man than you would normally see high school teams do.
Row G, seat 17 on the north side.
High snap over the head of Burden, and he's able to pick it up. Now he's got to get rid of it, and he does. Looking for some positive yardage here as a penalty marker comes back in the backfield. Burden took a shot, and let's see if this goes against Walpock. And it was Brendan Knievi, I believe, that delivered the shot to Burden.
Now the roughing the passer call against the Redskins.
And that's going to be the second penalty of the game for the Redskins. Both of them are the 15-yard variety. So if he got hit after he threw there, I mean, that definitely looks like it would have been late then, because they were still a couple steps away from Burden when he released that ball.
That went from disaster to now some positive yardage going in the right direction for the Wildcats. Get another look at the replay. And yeah, Knievi with a shove, maybe a little too late.
Yeah, even in the NFL, they might call that.
It's going to be another toss out into the flats. Parlapiano, and the defense swarming once more. This time, Isaac Meeks.
And I tell you what, Isaac Meeks is someone that you shouldn't sleep on. You know, I think there's a lot of other guys that get a lot of publicity, you know, with on offense and defense, and he's a two-way standout that does a really good job on both ends, especially on the defensive end. You know, he's been there for a while, played a lot as a sophomore last year, and had 6 tackles for loss coming into the game, and that's now his 7th. So him and Knievi kind of going back and forth for the team lead on tackles for losses.
Another high snap. Burden able to bring it down. Back to Parlapiano, and a host of Redskins are going to make sure that he goes nowhere.
Oh, and there's just nothing going there for, you know, just right now there's 3 red shirt jerseys in the backfield. There's no way that had a chance, no matter what the play was going to be called there. You know, the blocking's got to be a little bit better than that to give those running backs and Burden an opportunity. And AJ just informing that puts them back into negative area for rushing, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Burden, 3 receivers to his right. He's going to roll out that way and throw this one to the 40-yard line. It's going to be caught by Coleman, and he's going to pick up some positive yardage, but it's still going to be a 4th down and about 13.
So again, a couple negative plays kind of derail a promising drive for the Wildcats, and would think that we're going to see the punt team once again.
Several Redskins in on the stop, bringing up a 4th down.
Exactly what we'll see. So depending on the distance of this punt, it's maybe the first time that the Redskins start an offensive drive on the wrong end of the 50-yard line.
You know, if you give Riley Gibson too much room, you know,
oh, the fake. Bodeker was looking for Berger, and incomplete. As there was some extracurriculars going on afterwards on the Bath sideline.
Well, yeah, there was, but the head-scratching thing about that wasn't so much, you know, faking the punt. You know, you got nothing to lose, but you went into the short side of the field with an out route. Even if he catches the ball, he's likely not momentum going to take him out of bounds short of the first down. So,
and the other thing is, Walpock, great field position again to start the drive.
You know, again, from Bath's standpoint, I get it. I have nothing falling with them trying to make something happen, taking some chances. But
Herb with an empty set. He's going to throw it out to Ambus, and this time Noah Ambus able to hold on to it.
And Ambus and Herb, you know, both varsity basketball players for the Redskins, kind of connecting. And you know, that's his first varsity catch. And you know, sometimes just like you know, basketball, sometimes the first one to get in the hole is the toughest one. Sometimes the first catch is the toughest one.
2nd down and 3 from the 34-yard line. It's Herb again with an empty look. Herb this time looking to the right for Gibson, and he throws it a little too far over the head of the 6'2" Riley Gibson.
And Riley can jump, I usually say jump out of the gym, but he can jump really high. Even he can't jump that high.
Bring up a 3rd down. And again, the Redskins experimenting with their offense, a 35-point cushion, trying some new things out.
And truthfully, that's what you should be doing in this situation. You know, first of all, it gives you a chance to work on some things, and also, you know, gives other teams other things they have to prepare for.
Chambers going to be sent in motion. Herb's going to hand it off to him. Trying to get to the outside, now looking to cut it back in. Chambers with a nice second effort. He came very close to picking up that 1st down.
Chambers with a beautiful jump cut right there, because it looked like Bath had that totally strung out and had nothing going on, but he was able to execute that jump cut, catch Bath off guard a little bit, go north and south, and be able to pick up a couple yards to set up now a 4th and 1.
The offense will stay out on the field. This time, Erb will go under center. Redskins 2 of 2 on 4th down conversions. As Erb comes back out to look over to the sideline for the play call. He's got 5 seconds to snap it. He's going to hand it off to Evan Keck. Evan Keck didn't get a lot, but it looks like he's got enough for the first.
I think he's got enough, and quite frankly, that's pretty well done when number 5 gets the ball in short yardage. You think he's going to get a lot more than that. So Bath with a pretty good job, but it looks like it is going to be a first down, just barely.
They'll move the chains. Ball spotted at around the 31-yard line.
And we've got junior Jevin Woodruff in there, and likely to be a running back in this situation.
It's the other thing you get into with a 35-point lead. See with Walpock how long it takes to maybe put some of the second stringers in, save some of those legs. As Erb is going to throw it out to Gibson, and Gibson maybe was thinking about running before he completed the catch.
You know, and Erb right now is 3 for 7 passing, but he's had 3 drops. In terms of, you know, where he needs to put the ball, you know, 6 out of his 7 passes have been exactly where they need to be. And, you know, that's something that needs to be worked on. You know, sometimes they just look at the completion percentage and, you know, think it's the quarterback, but, you know, sometimes the wide receivers need to help him out too.
Like you said, definitely things that they can use going forward this game with that 35-point lead. Trying new things out. It's going to be a handoff to Woodruff, and he's going to be stopped at around the 30.
And really, the defense that Bath was playing right there, they were just begging them to pass the ball. You know, they had 2 receivers up top, and they really left Riley Gibson uncovered. And Gibson, obviously, we know is a very explosive player, but, you know, prior to this season, he was primarily a receiver. So, you know, he's comfortable out there, and he's converted to be an excellent running back so far, but, you know, he could be really anywhere. And again, we see him right there. He's going to be in the slot again. And again, I would consider him uncovered.
On 3rd down, Erb rolling out to his left. Erb thinks about carrying it. Now he's just going to throw it into the ground, and let's see if they're going to throw a penalty marker. Bath sideline wants it. After some discussion, there it is.
Erb hit while attempting the pass, which falls incomplete, and we have a flag on the play.
This penalty will move the Redskins back. 3:20 remaining in the first half, but remember, they won the toss and deferred to the second, so they'll get it to start the third.
Yeah, remember, we referred to this rule the last few weeks in the games that we've done, where we've seen this before. The difference between pro and college compared to high school. When you're out of the pocket in pro and college, there's no intentional grounding outside the pocket as long as you get the pass near the line of scrimmage. And you know, that's not the case in high school. And as I've mentioned every time, other time I've seen it, I wish that they would just make it the same. You know, it's a player safety issue. Yeah, Erb was not trying to complete the pass to really anybody in particular, but he was trying to avoid taking a shot. And, you know, in this era of player safety, I really think that's probably what they should try to do, is make it the same as pro and college.
So on 4th down, number 4, Riley Gibson, will punt the ball away for the first time tonight. It's a high boot, hanging, bouncing at the 20, and rolling down to the 5 and out of bounds. Riley Gibson, what a punt angled out at the 5.
When it's going right for you, it's going right for you. You know, we should mention that it's 35-0, and you might be wondering, well, about the mercy rule with a running clock. That does not start until the second half. So it does not matter what the score is in the first half. The clock will be timed as normal.
Bath Wildcats will set up in poor field position once again in the shadow of their own end zone. It's really been tough for this offense to find anything when they start this far back. Burden. Send a man in motion. Going to give it to Cox. Micah Cox steamrolling forward across the 10.
It's the third time we've seen Micah Cox carry the ball on first down, and he's gotten good yardage every single time they've ran it.
Bring up a second down and 4.
Hauser in on the stop.
Clock continues to run. If you're Bath here, is the mentality to just not give it back to Wapak and don't give them a chance to score before halftime?
No. Again, they're not concerned about the score. They're just trying to execute one play at a time. Try to get a first down.
Ball at the 12-yard line. Back to Cox. Micah Cox, been a bright spot of this offense. And his first drive of the game, he had the ball taken away from him by Evan Keck, but since then, he's been very reliable.
Micah Cox.
You know, there's only 2:20 left. I am not sure I've ever seen a game where the entire game has been played on one side of the field.
Or at least the first half. As Burden dropping back, looking for his intended receiver, and he's got him. It's Coleman. Bring up a second down. The clock continues to run here. Minute 50 remaining in the second quarter. Next week, we will travel to Salina as the Redskins have a big matchup against the Green and White Bulldogs.
Yeah, in Salina, I think we're going to see them 2 weeks in a row. And, you know, they're playing some good football and kind of surprising some teams. And what's not surprising is Evan Keck, once again, making a play in the backfield.
I tell you what, Evan Keck, man, is he fired up. He's loving it here on homecoming night.
You can see the replay. Again, just, you know, kind of a run blitz going straight up the middle, unblocked. And you know, while he's a tough pickup, you know, you need to be able to locate him on defense too, not just know where he is on offense.
Reminds me of the video games when you go on there and mess with the sliders and put the run blocking all the way down for the other team, so you can just go right through that line and get to the quarterback or running back right away. It's been that kind of night for Evan Keck, as this one's going to be thrown deep, looking for Iams and over the head of both him and Chambers.
And once again, just great coverage there by Chambers, but also what helps on that is Seifring from his linebacker position deepened up enough to provide, you know, some help on coverage to where he couldn't just throw it on the line. He'd have to be able to lob that in that caused the overthrow.
The Wildcats will send their punting unit back out onto the field. Bodeker. Another rugby-style punt. And this one's going to be fielded at the 45. Gibson trying to follow his blockers. He does across the 50. Gibson going to take a shot, keeps on moving, just shy of the 35 is where Wapak will start this drive with 33 seconds remaining in the first half.
And we'll see the approach that Coach Moyer takes on this. You know, this is a chance to potentially work on your 2-minute offense. Hurry up if you so choose to. You also might look at the score and just, you know, well, we'll just run a play or two, and if we bust one, we bust one. Otherwise, you know, we'll see. So interesting to see how they handle this.
Been a rough year or so for the Bath Wildcats. 14 straight losses coming into this one. Their last win back in week 1 of last year against Allen East.
And as we saw, it's been 2 years since they've won a WBL game.
Miracle is going to come up with a first down. He's going to lose his helmet in the process at the 25.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have to come off the field.
Not only that, Wapak's going to have to burn a timeout with 27 seconds remaining here in the second quarter.
A 13-yard gain, and we've seen Herb want to try to complete those slant passes, and he's able to finally kind of get one there with Miracle.
Like you said, Coach Moyer taking the timeout means he wants to work on that 2-minute offense and try to put some more points up on the board, and why not?
Well, I think you need to. To me, I've always had the thing, there's, from a sportsmanship standpoint, I don't think you can run the score up in the first half. You know, you need to try hard and, you know, try to do what, you know, you're expected to do coming into the game. And quite frankly, you know, Wapak needs to work on their passing game a little bit. This is a perfect time to get some game reps on it and get some confidence as they play some tough games coming up. You mentioned Salina, you know, OG's coming up still. Obviously, the big Week 10 matchup with St. Mary's. And, you know, the more versatile they can be along with their strong running game, the more they're going to be dangerous.
So out of the timeout. They're going to officially say the ball's at the 24-yard line, first and 10.
And again, I would look for him.
Instead, they're looking the other way to Chambers. And Chambers, did he get that foot down? Yes, he did. Great job by Aaron Chambers. Not only hold on to the ball, but have the recognition to tiptoe the sideline.
Yeah, really nice. Chambers with the catch, and Herb now is 2 for 2 on this short drive. But again, if it were me, if they do what they're doing, I would just rise up and I would throw the ball to Riley Gibson in that, just say, go, man.
11-yard pickup.
You know, that guy's too far away from him.
They're going to hand this one off to Woodruff. Woodruff still moving. Woodruff down to the 2. The Piles trying to push him in. And Woodruff is going to be stopped. They're going to blow whistle and stop forward progress, or they're going to say he was down.
Yep, they're going to call him down.
And now Coach Moyer's going to have to hustle over and call a timeout as the clock stops at 13 seconds. And Woodruff, I tell you what, the junior running back was being pushed and pulled into that end zone.
With the nice run.
So 13 seconds left. We'll see what head coach Travis Moyer comes up with when they head back out onto the field. But it's been one of those nights for the Redskins. Everything's going right. Even the special teams unit, Riley Gibson, had a beautiful punt a few plays back as well.
Looks like they're going to put another young body out there. Elijah Roa, junior there, is going to be in. We're going to check out a replay of that last run. And we'll see, there's some contact there at the 10, but the big contact comes right there just about the 5-yard line. And just the mush kind of keeps going and keep going. I don't know if they ruled that his forward progress had stopped and that's why they blew it, but I mean, it looks like he's in the end zone, Eli.
Yeah, one official came in pointing to the ground, saying that Jevin had got a knee down, but that might have been a different Redskin that they saw. Either way, it sets up a first down from the 2-yard line. 13 seconds left and still a timeout available for Coach Moyer.
Well, I'd give the ball number 13 right here. If he worked that hard for that last one, see if he can put it in himself.
Exactly what they do. Jevin Woodruff trying to reach for the goal line, and the signal is going to say he's short again, so Coach Moyer is going to have to call a timeout with 8 seconds. And
a little bit of confusion. Yeah. I think the timeout was observed by everybody, but it just wasn't officially signaled by the officials.
So 7 seconds left for the Redskins to try to put 6 more points up on the board before halftime, and I wonder if they go back to Woodruff again here, as he's had 2 carries come just inches from that end zone. And he's one of those backs too, alongside Riley Gibson and Evan Keck, that you look at and can provide some big carries in games like these. But last time we had Wapak, when they played Shawnee in week 3, he had a touchdown carry of his own.
You know, really, Wapak is the anti-Bath in terms of age. You know, with the exception of Seafring and Ambus, who are sophomore starters, Wapak starts all juniors and seniors. So they're a pretty veteran group, and you know, you're basically almost everybody out there for Wapak is, you know, a year or 2 older than the people that they're heads up against.
They put 8 seconds back up on the clock. This will most likely be one of the final plays, unless the Redskins can get into the end zone. Woodruff's going to get it straight forward. Jevin Woodruff puts the Redskins back up on top by even more, and 41 points for the Redskins.
And that is the 5th different Redskin scoring this half.
And the 3rd score here in the 2nd quarter. 3 touchdowns in the 1st quarter, 3 touchdowns in the 2nd quarter for Wapak. As Gessler on to attempt the PAT with 4 seconds left. And he will stay perfect again, making it 42-0. Wapak on top.
Extra point is up and good. With 4 seconds left.
The Bath Wildcats, we'll see what happens with this kickoff, but they're just ready for halftime.
Yeah, there's still 4 seconds left, and then mercifully, this half will end for the Wildcats, and and they have had it kind of tough in this series lately. As we check out the series history, Wapak does lead 36-22 and have won the last 8. They first met way back in 1958, and the last time Bath actually won here at Harmon Field was back in 2004, so 14 years ago. Unless there's a major change, that streak will probably likely continue.
Luke Beach will come back out to kick for the Redskins, and you look at Coach Miller in his first year, 0-5, obviously not the start to the season he wanted, and the games coming up on the schedule don't get any easier. They've got St. Mary's next week, but with such a young team, the future seems to be bright if they all stick around and get even better in the coming years.
Well, that's one of the reasons why you play the kids, is because they'll be back for multiple years, and you hope that this experience helps them in the future. You kind of feel bad for the seniors a little bit, because this is their season, and they don't have it next year. So they do have a second half though to try to get better.
42-0. It's been all Redskins in the first half. We'll see if that trend continues in the second. We'll be back with the halftime report in just a bit. You're watching Game Face Ohio.
Come out to Astro Lanes in the Loft Bar and Grill, where you can find great food, good drinks, fun games, and of course, bowling. Astro Lanes, a great place to spend some spare time.
Strength is about so much more than the body. It's about being together, serving, sharing, and caring for those around us. It's about keeping score in the heart rather than on a scoreboard. Be a part of a community that builds more than your body. At the Wapakoneta Family YMCA.
Homecoming night here in Wapakoneta, and the alumni band is performing with the high school band as well, and their football team is cruising right now, 42-0 over the Bath Wildcats. Eli Alvarez and Paul Sadler here with you, and those 42 points, they came early and often. Let's take a look at our scoring summary to see how we got there. Well, Evan Keck, he forced a turnover on the first drive for Bath, so they rewarded him. Took him 2 plays, 13 seconds to the house. 1 play later, the first play of the drive, Brady Erb goes 45 yards to make it 14-0. Then again in the first quarter, 5 plays, 39 yards, Brady Erb says, I'll take it from 5 yards out to make it 21-0. They didn't stop there. Aaron Chambers, he got it, going 8 yards to make it 28-0. Little Mario jump into the end zone there. And then Riley Gibson, he goes 49 yards. He says, sorry, Brady, your 45-yarder is nothing compared to this, making it 35-0. And they round out the scoring right before halftime with a 1-yard run from Jevin Woodruff to make it 42-0 in favor of the home team. And now it's time to step into Sadler Schoolhouse.
Okay, the play that we're going to look at was that 45-yard touchdown run by Brady Erb. You know, this is a type of read option where they're going to end up blocking with these guys right here. Schreier, Weinmiller, and Plogger are all going to kind of take all of these guys down, and then you're going to lead Nate Ambus out there to kind of kick out, but then they're going to leave somebody unblocked. If you want to go ahead and run this. So what we're going to see right here, go ahead and freeze it. Well, actually, just a little bit further. And freeze it right here, stop. Okay, you see Ambus isn't going to block this guy. He's going to go up and get somebody else. This is the guy they're reading, okay? If this guy stays put, he's going to go ahead and give the ball to Riley Gibson, let him run. But instead, this guy's going to commit himself to Riley, and he's going to keep the ball. But there's somebody else that's going to be, as go ahead and run it, that's going to be left unblocked that Brady has to take care of himself. Right there, this guy. And we can see, just with a nice little quick move, he's going to evade him. Now let's go ahead and look at a different angle at the start of the play. The guys that they aren't blocking are this guy, that's who they're going to read, and then this guy is the one that's going to be totally unblocked that Brady Erb is responsible for. So keep your eye on this guy because it's a one-on-one matchup. He's unable to make the play, and then from there, Erb makes a nice cut and he's got enough speed where they're not going to catch him.
As always, an interesting look at Sadler Schoolhouse, giving you a more in-depth look of plays in the first half. And now it's time to get an in-depth look at the stats.
And obviously total yardage wise, the Redskins are going to be dominant, but not as much as you might think because of the short field. They have 232 total yards compared to 35. The 35 is what's the remarkable to hold a team to that in one half, but you know, the entire half was played on half of the field for Wapak, and you know, they've really dominated this game, and really there's no one really standing out in terms of individual statistics. You know, Erb leads the way with 58 yards on 3 carries, Gibson with 49 carries, Keck with 32 yards. So, you know, kind of doing it by committee are the Redskins, but doing it very successfully.
Well, week 6 has belonged to the Redskins. There will be a running clock when we come back. 42-0. Wapak on top of the Bath Wildcats. You're watching Game Face Ohio.
At Minster Bank, we understand that life can get hectic. That's why when it comes to your banking, we offer the services that make your life simpler with tools like person-to-person payments, Pop Money, mobile and online banking, and bill pay. But most of all, Minster Bank is a supportive member of your community with personal relationships and customer service that reach outside of our branches. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success.
IC Signs designs, creates, and installs custom eye-catching signs. We use state-of-the-art technology to produce indoor and outdoor signs, LED message boards, and vehicle wraps. We can also help you with LED light conversion, sign refurbishing, custom t-shirts, promotional items, and your print needs. Whether you know what you want or have no idea, trust the experience of IC Signs. Call IC Signs at 419-738-6640.
Back here at Harmon Field, about to get the third quarter of action underway. It's homecoming night, and the home team has been cruising so far, 42-0. We'll start with a running clock, and the Redskins will start with the ball as they won the toss and deferred here to the second half. Eli Alvarez, Paul Sadler with you, and Paul, first half, not a great one for the Bath Wildcats, but coming out here in the second, what are things they can do to just work on improving going forward?
Well, first of all, I think it's going to be interesting to see what Wapak has out there, because I think they got kind of a JV unit out there already, and you know, that will be able to change potentially what Bath is able to do offensively and defensively, quite frankly.
Well, for the first time tonight, we will see a freshman kicker, Keaton Lyles, as he's going to boot this one down to the 35, and that's where Wapak's offense will take over.
Yeah, Caleb Pack with the fair catch. You don't see that too often on kick returns, but that is definitely an option that you can do.
Yeah, it looks like we may see a new quarterback out there to start the second half. And this will be the first time that the Redskins offense has started the ball on the wrong side of the 50.
So it looks like Reed Miracle is going to be the quarterback, and we are under now from the beginning of the second half. We are officially in mercy rule running clock, and there we see a false start there by the Redskins.
It's like Seth Hook, the junior, jumped on that one. Back up Walbach.
So it looks like it is a complete second team, not necessarily a JV team, but a second team offense in there for the Redskins.
6 foot, 175 junior Reed Miracle, listed as a running back. Does a little bit of everything on the offense.
Yeah, he usually plays more wide receiver, and obviously he's a two-way starter as well, so that's why, you know, he's not playing JV games, but he is the official backup quarterback.
Here's going to be a handoff that's going to get the Redskins down to the original line of scrimmage. Like Elijah Roa with the carry. And we saw last week a backup quarterback, but a completely different situation as the Kenton Wildcats lost their starter, Jaron Sharp, to an injury.
And obviously that changed the complexion of the game. You had one of the most exciting halves of football we've ever seen. And then the second half, you know, it really got away from the Wildcats, and St. Mary's cruised with putting 70 points up on the board.
And miscommunication from the offense as one side of the line went without the ball being snapped.
You know, you see that sometimes when you get in groups that aren't used to playing together a lot. So we've had 2 false start penalties here in this drive already.
You talk about that matchup last week that we had here on Game Face Ohio, St. Mary's and Kenton. And the Wildcats, very dangerous team. It's someone that asked Walpaw 2 weeks ago. They fell to Kenton 15-0. Bath will face them in their final regular season game of the year. As Roa is going to get the handoff again. He's going to gain maybe 2. But that Kenton team sitting at 3-1 in the WBL, 3-2 overall. Still a chance for them, along with Salina and Walpaw, to compete for the Western Buckeye League crown. And get a look at Reed Miracle, the backup quarterback.
Yeah, there's definitely kind of 4 teams kind of have really risen above everybody else. You know, the 2 teams we cover, Wapakoneta and St. Mary's, are, you know, definitely 2 of them. And then Salina, who we're going to see the next 2 weeks, and then Kenton, as you mentioned, is still definitely up there. You know, pending the health of Jaron Sharp, obviously.
How about the Defiance Bulldogs, sitting at 3-2 overall and 2-2 in the WBL? As Woodruff's going to get the carry on 3rd down.
And they are surprising some teams, and even for us tonight, you know, obviously you'll be watching this after the games are over, but they actually have a lead right now over the Salina Bulldogs. So they could sneak up in there in a little bit. However, with 2 losses and they still haven't played, you know, some of those teams in St. Mary's and Walpaw, you know, they would probably be more so spoilers than anything.
And they fall under the category of those teams like Elida and Van Wert, maybe even OG. You're not really sure week in and week out what you're getting out of them. As it'll be Gessler on to punt instead of Riley Gibson. It's a low snap. Gessler able to pick it up, and it's going to be a punt that's going to bounce at around the 40. Fielded at the 30. The Wildcats looking for field position as Berger is only going to gain maybe 4 or 5 on the return. As we take a look at our Finkelmeyer. Hold on, now we got penalty markers going down. And this is going to be for some extracurriculars after the whistle.
And this is about the 3rd one we've had, so you know, this is something that we would prefer not to have happen here. So kind of some stuff after the play, and you know, kind of get some frustration.
15-yard penalty, spot foul, 1st down.
Well, that'll negate the minimum return. So now it's time to take a look at our Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency trivia question. Paul, what do you got for us?
What season did Bath first compete in the Western Buckeye League?
First season of football for the Bath Wildcats in the WBL. It's a very good question. Well, I know because of you telling me earlier, before the broadcast, that the first season of football for the Redskins was 1921. This is a short pickup. And it was not the WBL, obviously. I'm going to say Bath joined in the 50s or 60s, but I want to hear what AJ has to say first. He's going to say 56. See, I'm not going to take his answer because it's probably right, but I was going to say somewhere in the 50s. I guess if I have to give an exact, I'm going to say 54. Just so I don't copy AJ's answer.
Said 54?
Yeah. As Burton is going to roll out now, use his feet to try to pick up the first down, but he's going to be brought down just shy.
I would say both of you weren't paying attention to the series graphic, where they didn't meet until 58.
Okay.
However, as we see the Finkelmeyer answer, it wasn't until 1966 they joined the WBL. So they actually played several times before Bath had joined the WBL in the late 50s and early 60s. Then they stopped playing, and then Bath did join in 1966 when Shawnee left.
And one of my favorite parts of doing games with Paul, the Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency trivia question. A big thanks to the people at Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency for sponsoring the trivia question, as on third down, the Wildcats get enough for the first. So AJ said 56. He led me astray, so I said 54.
I do want to point out that we had a graphic that said they first met in 1958.
Yeah. Well, you see, the thing is, I don't really have an excuse for that. First down and 10 from the 34-yard line for the Wildcats. Burden running the option, pitches it out, but the ball's loose. Parlapiano can't handle it. It's picked up by the Redskins, looking for a defensive touchdown. They've got it. Looks like Trevor Crow, the sophomore.
And I tell you what, we haven't really seen the option from Bath, and we knew that was definitely something that in them. And the first time they really run it, disaster happens, and the sophomore Trevor Crow is able to pick it up and be able to take it to the house. And I tell you what, you have a lot of excited people celebrating that young man on the sidelines. And what you get a lot of times when you get in situations where you're playing some of these people, you have some substitutions, not knowing when to go in, so some confusion, but Redskins are going to kind of figure it out.
Gessler's PAT, like all the ones before it, is up and good. 49-0. Walpaw getting it done on all ends of the ball. They lead back.
The Stolly Insurance Group, growing and looking out for you.
Whether it's your personal insurance, business insurance, or life and health insurance, let Stolly Insurance look out for you.
We're fortunate enough to represent over 50 different insurance companies.
We have access to major insurance companies all over the country, so you will receive the best coverage for the best premiums.
Stolly Insurance proudly represents Auto Owners Insurance Company and other fine companies.
Stolly Insurance, looking out for you.
Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency is a full-service insurance and financial services agency, offering insurance coverage for your auto, home, business, life, and health. Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency represents a carefully selected group of financially sound, reputable insurance companies to place your policy with a company offering the best coverage at the best price. Contact Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency at 419-739-4000.
This time it's the defense scoring the touchdown for the Redskins. The sophomore Trevor Crow, 34-yard fumble recovery, taking it to the house, making it 49-0. And the onslaught continues here in week 6 for Walpaw, as we're already under a running clock.
And about the only thing not really going for Wapak tonight is the far scoreboard that I'm looking at, the 9 is not fully formed.
The other one is, though.
Looks like it's 4 degrees is what it's saying.
That's Luke Beach. Another kick that
right
goes
there.
into the end zone. I thought we were always looking for the positives, as we want to give a big thank you, speaking of positives, to Astro Lanes for sponsoring us tonight, feeding the crew beforehand. Amazing pizza. You can go to Astro Lanes after every Wapakoneta home game for 60-cent wings. A great place to spend some spare time, Astro Lanes.
And again, some of the best pizza around. It's one of our favorite parts of the job.
We've got a first down and 10 from the 20-yard line. Burden going to roll out to his right. Now looking to cut back the other way. He's going to use his legs. The flag's going to come in, and it's going to be a negative pickup. We'll see if the penalty marker moves it even further back.
Jake Lee and Brandon Schneider there for the Redskins. Flag on the play.
There's going to be a hold there on Bath. That'll be their 5th penalty of the game.
I will say this. For as many underclassmen as the Wildcats have out there, spoke on it in the pregame, 5 freshmen starting, 5 sophomores starting. At times, they've looked like a unit that, with a little bit more experience and a few more years under their belt, could be dangerous in the coming years, and somebody the Western Buckeye League needs to look out for, as some whistles, just some housekeeping taken care of. As the penalty was declined. The Burden go back to work as he hands it off to Cox, lowering it. He's going to be brought down after a pickup of maybe 2.
And that was Roa that time, kind of putting his body on the line because he was vastly outsized that time by about 80 pounds. But he was in the hole and was able to make the play.
As the clock continues to run here in the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 9 from the 21-yard line. Cox next to Burden in the shotgun. Going out to his right once more. Burden looking for his intended receiver, Coleman, in and out of his hands and complete.
You know, we saw some nice completions in the first half by Burden, and that's one that, you know, I think he would expect himself to be able to complete. You know, that would have been potentially enough to be able to move the change for a first down, and that's one I think that he'd like to have back.
I know their offense doesn't at times call for this, but most of the attempts Burden has been rolling out to his right or rolling to his left or throwing on the run. It'd be interesting to see what type of a passer he is if he just stands in the pocket and has time to set his feet.
Kellerman is back to be able to return. It's kind of interesting. You have guys on the sidelines of the Redskins pointing to the left. I don't know if they're trying to tell him that, hey, there's a rugby-style kicker. He's going to kick it that way. I think that's what they're trying to communicate to him.
It's going to be fielded at the 45. And 3 yards later is where the Redskins offense will take over. So as we talked about, some new faces in for the Redskins offense. Reed Miracle last time was the signal caller. We'll see, looks like his night is done as well. We'll have a new quarterback under center, the 3rd one of the night for the Redskins.
And this time it's going to be Trevor Crow, who we saw on defense put the last points up on the board with the fumble return. Now kind of the traditional JV offense in there now for the Redskins.
Crow will hand it off to Elijah Roa, and he'll gain solid yardage. And Crow's someone we got to see last year in the Ottawa-Glandorf game. Paul, I know you weren't there for it, but similar type of game. Redskins got a big lead, and they end up going to Crow in the 4th quarter to close things out. So the sophomore has had varsity snaps under center.
And this is always a really good experience for him. You know, you're out there. There's still a pretty good crowd here. It's Friday night. It's still the homecoming game. And to be able to get this reps, you know, under the lights of a Friday night versus, you know, a Saturday morning, it's a different beast.
And Paul, you can speak to what it's like to play under the lights on Friday night for your home team, and obviously you went on to play even further after high school, but something that not many people realize, kind of the atmosphere of it all and how it's so much different than really any other sport.
Yeah, I mean, it's the highest attended sport. There's a lot of people, there's, several times, a couple thousand people come to your games. And, but kind of interesting thing about that, I mean, you're aware that there's a lot of people there, but you're far enough removed from them where you don't really notice it. So, I mean, you know it, and sometimes you'll like turn and try to wave and pump them up, but when you're out there, you're so zoned in what you're trying to do that you don't tend to notice them. It's not like the 100,000 at Penn State or Ohio State or Michigan or something. On that degree, they've got a fumble.
Ball's loose, and Bath is going to catch a break on 4th down, and they're going to recover the fumble and take over on downs. Logan Wheeler, the senior, picking it up for the blue and gold.
So anyway, to kind of finish my point, you always hear about this home field advantage in the pros, and we can see the replay kind of gets popped. Does Woodruff that time. Forces the fumble. It's something that's going to be addressed by the coaches, I'm sure. Where they talk about, where you can't hear the counts in the pros. You don't get that in high school. You get good crowds, but you don't get it to where you can't communicate out there. And it's still just tremendous memories that everybody's kind of making while they're out there.
Well, I myself was used to the soccer pitch and the tennis courts in high school. Not the same thing, as here's going to be a jet sweep going to Gage Iams, and that's going to be the final play of the 3rd quarter. As we head to the 4th, a fresh 12 we put up on the scoreboard, and it's the Redskins in control of this one, 49-0.
You're on the go and don't have time for cords to be tying you down. That's why TSC created the Cord Cutter Bundle. You get big savings for bundling internet and cable, and there's no phone requirement. Choose from 20 megabyte, 50 megabyte, or 100 megabyte speeds. No phone, minimal TV, and all lightning fast internet. Ask about the Cord Cutter Bundles and come home to TSC.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
Hello, Frost Roofing.
Frost Roofing holds the same core values our company was founded upon nearly 9 decades ago. We proudly provide quality craftsmanship and top-notch service to each client we serve. We're licensed by several major roofing manufacturers to give you the right recommendations at the best value for your investment. With state-of-the-art equipment, cutting-edge technology, and our honest way of doing business, Frost Roofing is our area's preferred commercial roofing experts. To learn more, visit frost-roofing.com or call 419-739-ROOF.
Homecoming night, black out the theme. It's exactly what the Redskins are doing, but now the second string defense trying to hold them as the Wildcats get across the 50-yard line on a nice pitch and catch. It looks like it was Gage Iams scampering forward.
And that quick little pitch and catch on a quick screen, I like that. That's actually kind of what I thought that they should do with Gibson. That's a couple times when he's out there and there's not a guy within 10 yards of him. If you've got an athlete with some space out there, you can get some chunks of yardage at times, and it's a pretty high percentage to complete.
20-yard pickup. Burden looking to keep the momentum going as he tosses this one out to Armentrout. He's going to be just shy of a first down.
Again, freshman to freshman connection. Armentrout was the leading receiver coming into the game with 8 catches for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. And here it took to the 4th quarter. This is the first time that the Wildcats have entered Redskin territory.
Looking to make the most of it. Again, the mostly second string defense out there for the Redskins. Burden dropping back, looking deep down the field. He's got his man, and in and out of the hands of, once again, Gage Iams.
And Caleb Pack was able to just undercut that just enough and disrupt it with getting his hand up to be able to make that incomplete.
Bring up a 3rd down and short. You like the aggressiveness of the Wildcats.
You see the replay, it's not so much that I don't believe he got a hand on it, but just, kind of getting up there and making a play on the ball. That's not face guarding, but it really got in the vision to make him not be able to catch it.
Going to the air once more this time, Armentrout. He's got the first down across the 35.
Can run a little bubble screen. They kind of man up on the other guys with the receivers out there. They got to get their blocks, and then there's one guy you got to make miss, and Armentrout was able to do that and move the chains.
Clock continuing to run again. Mercy rule in effect. It's been that way since the start of the second half. Ball at the 34. Armentrout sent in motion. Burden's going to fake the handoff, looking deep again. He's got a man wide open down the field, but incomplete as they were looking for Brady Coleman, the senior.
Yeah, and it's tough to see sometimes, but he had Rabel on a post pattern, which I think might have been an easier throw, who had a step right in the middle of the field that he could have looked for. Sometimes you get kind of locked into who you want to throw to, as opposed to kind of scanning to see who the most open guy is.
Wildcats leaning on that air game here in the fourth quarter. Thrown out into the flats, and it's a dangerous throw as they were looking for Bodeker. And it was almost thrown too far out in front of him. That's dangerous because if he's not aware of a defensive back coming in, he could have taken a shot.
Oh, there's no doubt that was overled, as you could do on one of those bubble screens.
Bring up a 3rd down and 10. Wildcats trying to take advantage of the backups being in on defense. Burden rolling to his left, now trying to keep it on the ground, and he's going to be stopped for a loss, and even the second string gets it done for the Redskins.
And I'm not sure that it wasn't a kind of a busted play in terms of execution, because he had his receivers all the way to the right, and he rolled out to the left, and there didn't seem to be any blocking for that. There was no receiver option. It was a naked bootleg in essence, to where they're into the short side of the field, and there's just nothing there.
The thought process being that if your first string is the best defense scoring-wise in the Western Buckeye League, and your second string probably not too shabby. This one complete to Armentrout on 4th down. Is it enough for the first? Based off of the spot, it is.
Yep, so 4th down conversion for Bath to Armentrout. And again, I don't have a problem with this. Bath is young enough. They still might have a younger group out there than the Redskins have on defense. Whether these guys are usually varsity and the other guys are usually JV, they're just a young team, and they're seeking for battles and plays where they can feel successful and kind of get something out of this game.
I'm sure with everybody out there, these two may have gone up against each other, or certain players may have gone up against each other just a few years ago back in middle school. As Armentrout will get the handoff. He's got room to run up the sideline. Armentrout looking for the first points of the game for Bath, but he's going to be pushed out just short.
Just shy of the goal line.
Spotted, looks like at around the 3-yard line.
And you have kind of the varsity defense here on the sidelines, and defenses like that 0 up there. They like to have their shutouts. So they're definitely cheering on the squad that's out there to try to keep the Wildcats out of the end zone. And obviously, Coach Bryant Miller, wants to get something positive from this experience here. Definitely wants to get the ball in the end zone.
Micah Cox trying to do just that. He's going to be dropped down at the 1, but that last run by Armentrout puts the total offense for Bath now officially over the century mark, as they were in the negatives for quite some time in that first half.
Oh, and I'm not sure what we have, how much of that yardage is on this drive. 71 yards of that is on this drive. So this will be the 12th play.
Burden in the shotgun is going to keep it himself, looking to get into the end zone, and again the defense for Walpock denies him. Bring up 3rd down and 1.
So there hasn't been very much drama in this game, but we're going to take it where we can. It's come down to, can the Redskins get a shutout, or can Bath have something they can hang their hat on when they make the drive back home on I-75, to figure out that, hey, we did do this and got the ball in the end zone. That's something we can build on.
Student section dressed in all black. That's exactly what they're hoping to do to the Wildcats. Keep them out of the end zone. Burden having other ideas as he tries to lean forward. And again, short. It's going to be 4th down. No, one official signals a touchdown, and they're going to give it to him. The Wapak sideline isn't happy about it, but Burden gets in for the first points of the game for Bath.
I'm not sure I saw which official and really put his hands up first. I thought they had him marked down short, but the Wildcats are on the board. And Burden, that is his 2nd rushing touchdown of the year.
The Wildcats will not head back without scoring a point, as the kick is through the uprights for Keaton Lyles. 49-7. Wapak still in control, but the Wildcats get on the board.
Sometimes you just don't want to get out of your car. That's why TSC has made it easy for you to pay your bill. We have drive-up payment drop boxes at our St. Mary's and Wapakoneta offices. Just pull in, drive around, and drop off your payment. Just one more convenience to show you how much we appreciate you.
TSC, give us a call and see. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
The Bath Wildcats get their first point on the board thanks to their quarterback Cyrus Burden, keeping it from 1 yard out. And it was a drive that took them 13 plays, 72 yards, 7 minutes and 36 seconds. But they will not leave Harmon Field empty-handed, as the freshman Keaton Lyles will come on to kick it off from the 40-yard line. This one's going to be fielded at around the 10, and it's muffed as well. Kellerman trying to dance around back there, and the Bath special teams unit is going to back up the Redskins offense. Take a look at our game summary. Wapak with 21 points in both the first and second quarters.
And obviously, once you get into the running clock, that changes the dynamics of things quite a bit. You have much fewer plays and possessions at your disposal in the second half. So, with 420 plus kind of running here right now, this game doesn't have a whole lot left.
Trevor Crow back in under center for the Redskins. He's just going to hand this one off and maybe loses a yard. But I think it's a good time to maybe spotlight some of the other fall sports for the Redskins, as they've had a lot of success elsewhere on the pitch. Girls soccer 7-4-2 on the year, 4-2-1 in the Western Buckeye League. The boys golf team finished 4th in the WBL. The girls golf team finished 2nd in the 5-team Western Buckeye League tournament held last Friday night. The volleyball squad has picked up 4 wins over the past 2 weeks. Boys soccer finds himself at 6-4, 3-2 in the WBL. Girls tennis, Western Buckeye Leagues were held yesterday. They had a nice outing after finishing 3rd in the regular season at 7-2. They look to go back Saturday to UNOH and try to secure a top 3 finish. And cross country having themselves a great year as well for the Redskins. So fall sports, they're doing the Redskins faithful proud this year.
And Wapak's kind of had it going on here lately. They have won the WBL All Sports Trophy the last 4 years, which is unprecedented. So, you know, a lot of good things going on for the red and white.
3rd and 8. Crow will hand this one off. Once again, to number 17, Andrew Kellerman, and he's going to come up just shy of the first down, so it'll be a 4th down and maybe 2. Let's see, with just about 2.5 remaining in the ball game, looks like the Redskins are just going to keep their offense out there. Nope, here comes the punting unit.
Yeah, I think Coach Moyer wanted to kind of milk as much clock as he could.
It'll be Gessler back to boot it away for the Redskins. Normally Riley Gibson handles those duties, but he's been called off for the night. And now we have a penalty marker down as
delay game.
Didn't get the play off in time. Yep. And it's not going to hurt the Redskins too much.
You know, I noticed this last week. You know, the clock keeps moving. In theory, you could just not snap the ball and just take your delay game penalties and end this game.
That's one way to do it. As we're down to 1:40 and counting.
Back to the Wildcats.
Gessler standing at the 1-yard line. Another low snap. Able to field it. That one's going to bounce at the 40. Fielded at the 45. And a great job by Trevor Crow to get down there and cover on special teams.
Tell you what, getting it done in all phases of the game. Has a defensive touchdown, played some quarterback, and just made quite a stick in special teams.
The Bath offense will take back over, but we take a look at the Western Buckeye League standings heading into this one.
Well, there might be some shakeups going on right now, as right now the Salina Bulldogs and the Kenton Wildcats are both losing, and that would severely damper their chances in the WBL. That would clear the field a little bit for the Rough Riders and Redskins, but you know, Salina does face both of those teams here in the next 2 weeks, so even with a loss tonight, which that game's not over yet against Defiance, but you know, they still have their chance to kind of put their stamp by playing the top 2 teams.
Second stringers in for the Wildcats as well. Looking to do some work is Logan Wheeler. Nice carry all the way up to the 20 for Wheeler, and the senior is going to get his Wildcats down to the red zone. I'll tell you what, one team, obviously the other team we cover here on Game Face Ohio, the St. Mary's Rough Riders, they put up 70 points against the Kenton Wildcats. Of course, Jaron Sharp didn't play that second half for Kenton, but they're possibly about to do that again to the Elida Bulldogs. As this snap is bobbled, the Wildcats looking to try to make something out of nothing, but the defense getting back there and making sure that this is a big loss.
Nolan Sutton, a big 6'6", 305 sophomore with a huge sack.
Dallin McDermott, the backup quarterback, now in, and that's how we'll end it. 49-7. The clock's gonna strike midnight on this one. On homecoming night, the Redskins take it. They move to 5-1, 4-1 in the Western Buckeye League. Back after this.
Have you heard about TSC's referral program? Refer your friends and family and you both get a credit matching the services they chose. That's right, we'll credit your invoice. There's no limit to the number of friends you can refer. So come back to your local hometown provider and bring your friends and family with you. We'll reward you both.
TSC, give us a call and see. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, call TSC.
Owen Kitchen and Bath Showroom has been family owned and operated since 1990. We can help you from start to finish with your entire project. Let one of our professional designers put the final touches on your project. Owen Kitchen and Bath now has 2 showrooms to better serve you in Wapakoneta and Lima. Owen Kitchen and Bath. Cabinetry that will take your breath away at prices that won't.
Back here at Harmon Field, we're partying tonight on homecoming night as the Wapakoneta Redskins take it 49-7 over the Bath Wildcats. Eli Alvarez, Paul Sadler here with you one last time. Paul, start to finish, it was all Redskins.
It was, and we kind of joked a little bit that it's 49-7, but it didn't even feel really that close. The Redskins really checked all the boxes tonight, what they needed to do. The varsity, the first team played the first half only. They were successful nearly every drive. The special teams did well. The defense was dominant. Everything they wanted to do, they were able to do.
As we take a look at our stats, maybe a little deceiving because most of Bath's offense came with the second team defense out on the field for Walpole.
Yeah, they were able to make it a little bit respectable, and the Redskins had very little offense in the second half with their backups playing against the Bath varsity. So things did get a little bit more even up there. However, it did not get more even up on the scoreboard, which is where it counts. Looking at stats, again, not a lot of statistics here to be impressed with. Micah Cox led the way with 38 yards rushing. Burden passing for Bath was 12 for 20 for 70 yards. Boddicker ended up going 1 for 4 passing. Armand Trout finished with 6 catches, but for only 27 yards. Going over to Walpock, none of the varsity guys had any carries in the second half, so the leading rusher was Brady Erb with 58 yards on only 3 carries. So he was 5 for 9 passing for 76 yards. So not a big statistic night, but that's not necessarily why you play. They played to get better, to win, and continue to move one step closer towards potentially a Western Buckeye League championship and also maybe a playoff berth, and they were able to accomplish both of those tonight.
And as you said, not much offense for the Walpock team on the second half. It was the defense that got it done, and that defensive touchdown is our Merit Real Estate Professionals taking it to the house play of the game. And it came off of a fumble recovery as Cyrus Burden pitched it out to Parlapiano, and it was the sophomore. You don't call his name too often, but Trevor Crow, the backup quarterback, backup defensive back, with a great defensive play to give the Redskins their only score of the second half.
Yeah, and like I said, the mercy rule kind of moved things along really well there in the second half. So, moving on to week 7 and, some bigger and better things ahead for the Redskins.
As the Redskins will travel to Salina, we'll be there next week. We hope you will join us as well. A big thanks to all our guys in the truck for another great broadcast. For AJ Lisi on stats, Paul Sadler beside me, giving the color commentary, as always. I'm Eli Alvarez. 49-7 on homecoming night. The Redskins roll. Thanks for watching.